Welcome to the Griffins Pipeline Podcast. I'm your host, Connor. I'm here with my brother, Kyle.
How's it going today, everyone? We are brought to you by the Hockey Podcast Network, sponsored by DraftKings.
Yeah, so today we are going to give away our Marco Kasper giveaway. And we have a special interview, our first ever interview. We have Andy Miele coming on, a former USA captain, Hobie Baker winner, SHL champion, 5-time All-Star. I mean, dude's amazing. He's played in every league, so stick around after the giveaway for that interview. It's a great one. So,
yeah, thanks, Andy, for taking the time to talk to us. So to get this giveaway kicked off, we got a Marco Kasper poster to the first place winner, but in second place and third place, we figured we'll give out a Zach Aston Reese poster tied with the Griffins Pipeline hat, one of our hat trick hats, and third place, you will get a hat trick hat as well. So we got some nice ball caps with our logo on them. Rule is if you end up with one in your hands and you wear it to the game, someone gets a hat trick, you throw that hat on the ice. So you don't have to throw your nice, expensive Detroit hat on the ice.
Yeah, especially if you have one of those really nice winter beanies from the Griffins, from the zone, that cost you about $60. If you just buy that, you're not going to want to throw it on the ice. So, yeah, just throw the Pipeline hat on there. It's a perfect hat to throw, and that's really what we want. I mean, hat trick hats. It's a fun concept, and we've already done it once. Last year in the playoffs for the Berggren hat trick that got called back, and they picked our hat up and waved it around. It was actually really cool. So
yeah,
that gave
a couple of them down there.
Yeah, that gave us the idea to keep giving these out. So
for our entries today, from Facebook, we got Mike Buffum, Jaron Glenn Willis, Corey Grassman. Hopefully I said that right. And from X, we have Directionally Correct at Directionally Co, Allie at Twirling Flurry, and at LGRW _818.
Yeah, so for everyone who's on this list, if you reach out to us, you'll get your hat. We have a couple colors. We got red, black, and white.
So we pulled some numbers out of the hat here. And our winners are in third place, Directionally Correct. We will be messaging you directly about your hat trick hat. Second place, we got Allie at Twirling Flurry. You will be getting the Aston Reese poster and a hat to go with it. And in first place, Mike Buffum. You will get the Marco Kasper poster and a hat to go along with it as well. So congratulations to the winners of the giveaway. We appreciate you guys following and subscribing and following along.
Yeah, and we just really like giving stuff away. I mean, we do this just to pretty much improve the atmosphere for the Grand Rapids Griffins and get the word out there for people, because it seems like when you're in the Van Andel Arena, there's just so many fans of the Griffins, and then you get out of the arena and into normal life, and it doesn't seem like there's almost anyone to talk hockey with. So we're just trying to make that community bigger and grow Griffins Nation the best we can, and make sure this Grand Rapids team never leaves Grand Rapids, because we got such a loyal following here.
Yeah, and that being said, we give away this Marco poster giveaway, and on to the next giveaway, where we have lined up a poster and a puck. So first place, we'll get the poster and puck hat. Second place, we'll get a Josiah Didier poster with the hat. And the third place, we'll get the hat. So go on and entry.
Yeah, and for the entry, it'll be on Facebook, and you go to our featured section and you go find it. You got to comment on the link on our page that's in our featured section. So follow us. If you already liked and follow us, all you got to do is pretty much write your favorite player down, and we'll enter you in the drawing. And if you want a bonus entry, go subscribe to us on YouTube. We're starting to do more videos, and we need our following on YouTube to get bigger.
Yeah, we want to grow this, and we're trying to get some support behind us as we start taking off. And speaking of that, coming up, we've got the ADA Extravaganza.
So join us on Saturday, March 8th, 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at the ADA Forest Hills Extravaganza. It's pretty much businesses under the roof. There's a lot of fun events going on. There's a soccer demonstration. We got our hockey demonstration at 11:30 to 12:30 p.m. Come down. There's a lot for the family to do and a lot to network and see what's going on in the great ADA Forest Hills community. So if you want to come to our booth to shoot, you can shoot for prizes. We have a goalie, and we'll have a shoot up lineup. If you score, you get a prize. And we'll also have me and Kyle will be standing there at our booth for the grand door prize, which is a signed puck and poster by Josiah Didier, captain of the Grand Rapids Griffins, and then 2 Grand Rapids Griffins tickets and 2 Griffins Pipeline podcast hat trick hats. So come on out and see us at the ADA Extravaganza.
And that being said, without further ado, we'll get on to this Andy Miele interview. Like we said, we're extremely excited to have Andy on, and it was a great talk. So hopefully you guys enjoy it just as much as we did. So we'll catch you at the end for a penalty box.
It might not feel like it, but spring's right around the corner. Know how you can tell? Golfers are hitting the links, and we have some tournaments to talk about. If you want to do more than just talk, put your money where your mouth is and get in on all the tee to the green action with DraftKings Sportsbook. From Thursday's opening round through closing round Sunday, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with the tournament's props, live betting, odds, boosts, and so much more. If you've never bet on golf before, it's easier than you think. Just pick something simple like a golfer to win the tourney and make your pick. It's just that easy. Here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Just keep in mind that available lines and odds are all subject to change. Download the DraftKings Sports app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Hey, welcome to the Griffins Pipeline podcast today. We welcome Andy Miele, a 3-time AHL All-Star, Hobie Baker Award winner, SHL champion, former Olympic game captain for Team USA. Welcome, Andy. How you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. We think you're the perfect guy to have, considering we're a pipeline podcast and we talk about all the different leagues going around, and you've practically played in every league.
Yeah, they call that a suitcase.
Suitcase. Interesting.
Nice. Suitcase player.
Heck yeah. It's pretty cool.
Well, we really thank you for joining us today, as you know, it's not every day you get a professional like you on here. I gotta shout out to Ian for hooking me up with the Connect, so shout out to Ian here and appreciate
Ian coming through big time.
Yeah, he came through big time for us.
Coming through in the clutch.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm excited. When he said you guys were in Grand Rapids and a pipeline for GR in Detroit, like I said in the text, it was one of my favorite times playing with you was in Grand Rapids. So I was happy to do the show, and I'm excited to chat with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're very glad to have you.
Yeah, as a 2-time point leader for Grand Rapids from 2014 to 2016. Good times for Griffins during that stretch. That was a good decade, and I feel like you were a really good part of it there. So I think today we're gonna kind of get into your early days, your prospect days, and what made you a professional.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of get into your early professional career with your time in the NHL and the AHL, and then kind of talk about your post NHL career and your current career that you got going.
Sounds good.
So you were in college, you played, well, we'll start a little earlier than that. So you were on the Little Caesars 18 under AA League to start out. How was that?
You know what? It's funny when you look back on it, it's a lot different than your perspective of it in the moment, but it was fun. You got to play with your buddies that you grew up playing with. And at that time, you think everyone's, going to go play Division I and pro hockey after that. And obviously that's not the case, but I got to play out of Joe Louis, which was pretty cool. That was our home rink, so I got to practice there and play there. Absolutely kept the dream alive of someday playing there professionally. But it was great. It was a good year for me. I think I led the team in points that year. I was not drafted to the USHL, which was a big bummer because I thought I for sure would have got drafted because that was the next step in my career path, and I had a good season, so I ended up having to go on a tryout to the USHL. But yeah, it was exciting. It was fun playing with your childhood buddies at a little bit older age.
And then just the Joe Louis Arena has such a atmosphere in there. Like being in there, just you can almost feel the history.
Big time. I grew up going to those games, eating Little Caesars pizzas there.
Yeah,
I loved it. I loved it a lot. I even had I remember one game a coach on the other team was yelling at me for something. I remember him saying, "You'll never play in this arena again. You'll never play in this arena again." I was like, I just add that to the fuel.
Oh yeah. All right. So 2005 or so, you were at Little Caesars, and you said you were undrafted into the USHL.
Correct.
Is that a big bummer for you? As were the tryouts like something you had to like really push yourself to go do, or you like, I don't know, this might be where I stop? Like, what was that like for you?
No, I think that was, when I look back on my career, I recognized different things that kind of just added motivation to myself. Because I think, if I would have been drafted high, who knows what my mindset would have been going into camp compared to going into camp trying to prove myself and earn a spot. So once the draft was over, it was actually kind of funny too, because there was, sorry, we're going through a tunnel right now, so let me know if I lost you guys.
It's all good, man.
Okay. There was 28 rounds back then. There was only 11 teams. It's like 28 rounds, and there were teams not even picking guys anymore, while other teams were still picking. I was like, teams would rather not pick anyone than take me. But like I said, it just kind of added to the fuel to prove myself. And
absolutely.
After the draft was over, I got a couple calls from a couple different teams. I thought my dad actually handled that pretty well and helped me dissect which place would be the best place to go to. And he talked to the coaches, and we landed on Cedar Rapids. And,
Rough Riders.
The Rough Riders ended up being the perfect place for me.
Yep, and then I seen you also had some time there in Chicago Steel.
Yeah, I was actually traded my second year. We were struggling with our goaltending, and the Steel had a goalie that our GM wanted, or our coach wanted, because they actually had two good goalies at the time. And the Steel said that they wanted me. So one of my really good buddies, who was the starting goalie in Cedar Rapids, got traded with me. Um, that's where I ended up finishing my career in Chicago.
Yeah, so the USHL, was that like, you start to travel a lot more at that point? I know just hockey in general, you're traveling a lot, but when did you like, and that parents are obviously a huge part of this too, like at what point did you like have to start taking things on your own to get places and do that kind of stuff?
I would say a little bit my first year of midgets. This year on your own to drive to some games and practice and stuff. But juniors is when you're really, I mean, you're going to Iowa, this place that you would never expect to go. And then you're living with a family you've never met before, figuring out a new city. But like the good thing is there's 8 other guys coming in at the same time, going through the same thing. So you're kind of in it together.
Yeah.
And you learn from the older guys a little bit. And, but that was an awesome experience. That was such a cool transition in life and in hockey.
Nice.
So you go through the USHL for the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders and the Chicago Steel, and you end up getting to the NCAA and playing for Miami of Ohio.
Yeah.
So you led the NCAA in points and ended up getting the Hobie Baker Award, which is a huge honor. That's pretty cool stuff there.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, that was, you don't realize how much that kind of sticks with you throughout your career and life in that moment. And it was such a blessing to be awarded that and have the season that I did that year. We had such a good team that year. Our power play was outrageous. It was, I think, like a little over 30%. Things just went well, and you're doing it with some of your best friends. So it was such a fun ride, great experience. It's unfortunate that the NCAA tournament didn't go as we expected, but we won the CCHA playoffs that year for the first time in school history. So that was a lot of fun, and something I hold close to my heart to this day.
So, and then after that, after winning the Hobie Baker, you go to try for the NHL draft, and you were undrafted?
Yes, I was undrafted. I was, since the draft is you're 18, I think you can be drafted at 19. I was a little bit older at that time. So, luckily for me, I was kind of got to choose where I wanted to go.
Yeah,
so,
you don't get stuck on like the Chicago Blackhawks.
Right. But yeah, so I, obviously sat down with my agent. He went over the teams and I flew out to California where he was living. A couple teams came out to visit and chatted with them and decided with the Coyotes from there.
Yep.
What stuck out to you about the Coyotes, the Phoenix Coyotes at the time?
A couple things. One, they were at that time struggling to down the middle with their centers. They had Kyle Turris, but he was not signing at the time for whatever reason. I can't remember what it was. So they were really looking for a top center. And also when we had the meeting, the assistant GM, who at the time was Brad Treeliving, really reminded me of one of my college coaches. So I kind of just had a connection with him from that. But we just felt that the opportunity there was really good. But in hindsight, I think I probably should have went to a team that wasn't we have to win right now, we have to make playoffs right now, or else.
Yeah, someone who could build around you almost.
Exactly. So
yeah,
I was kind of in a position where I had some success early on in the NHL. I probably wasn't ready to go up to the NHL yet, but they needed a player to come up, and I just wasn't ready yet. So when I went up, I just didn't do very well and lost some confidence there. So,
yeah.
But when you're looking at it, you're the Hobie Baker winner. You're seeing a spot that's open. That's kind of the
you're like I'm NHL. I'm ready.
Right. Exactly.
No.
You're flying pretty high at that point.
So we talk about in our podcast a lot how hard the AHL actually is. Everyone's like, call up this first round pick right now, like right as 18. Like, first of all, like most of these people are like football fans, and football players get drafted around like 22, 24.
Right.
So they're like ready to jump right in. Like these kids are getting drafted at 18, and then some of them are from overseas, and there's a huge transition on the ice. And once you hit that pro level, it's a huge step up. And then the NHL is like just insanity. You got dudes like Connor McDavid out there.
Right. Yeah, I mean it's a huge difference. And like you said, for the European players coming over, the small ice is so different. It's unbelievable, and it's a huge transition, and it takes a while. It's not 10 games to transition. It takes some guys a long time, and you're playing against boys and juniors, and college is a little bit older, but it's still not the level of pro hockey. And then you're playing men, anywhere from 18 to 37 years old. So it's a huge transition. You can't just put a guy in and expect him to do well. And like you said, the AHL is so much better than what people think, and you need to, like I said, for my situation, sometimes you got to let a guy marinate in the AHL for a while till he is absolutely dominating and he doesn't belong there anymore, and then you bring him up when his confidence is high and he's already proven himself for a year or two consistently in the minors before you bring him up.
Yeah, I think that's just like a huge missed point with a lot of current hockey fans. A lot of people we talk to is they just see this high-end prospect and it's like, get them in there. But it's the level of professionalism, like just building that everyday you're on the ice type mentality and always trying to be on the ice. Because once you do get to the NHL, that if you're not eating, sleeping, breathing hockey, you're probably not going to make it.
Right. Exactly. And I think Detroit for a while did a really good job with really letting their players marinate in the minor leagues. And it starts with hiring a coach down there that you trust to develop your players, teach them the game. And I think they've done a really good job over the years with having a coach down there that can do that and put the trust in him to prepare those guys for the NHL. Because even the NHL is a different game than the AHL.
Yeah, so we have Dan Watson right now, and actually Brian Lassoff is our assistant coach. You played with him in your time in Grand Rapids, correct?
I did. Yes, I loved seeing him get the job there. That was awesome.
Yeah, he played in Grand Rapids forever, man. For so long, and then he's a coach now. I hope someday he can get that head coach job. I think he'd be a good guy for that.
For sure. I'm sure he will. That seems to be his trajectory, and I'm sure at some point after that he'll be with the Red Wings.
Absolutely.
So yeah, around that time, basically from 2011 to 2017, you were involved in the NHL and AHL kind of fluently. But you went down to the Portland Pirates and then you ended up on the Grand Rapids Griffins, where you led the team 2 years in a row. So playing for Grand Rapids 2 years in a row like that, what are some of the things that stand out the most to you for your time here? And maybe some of the players that you played with that you enjoy playing with and that kind of route.
Speaking of players that I played with there, one just sent me a picture the other day that was always a fan favorite, Mitch Callahan.
Oh yeah.
Love Mitch Callahan.
That dude's awesome.
Yeah, he was great. But it was, like I said, I loved the organization. The rink was great. The fans are great. The city was great. It it was just so professional the way they ran everything. It was the closest to like the NHL that I felt in the minor league. They just did a great job. There was always a winning team. Playoffs were so much fun there. Just everything about the organization I loved.
Absolutely.
And you're so close to Detroit too, so the fans are passionate about both teams in the same state. Like, I think that makes a big difference too.
Yeah, because you got some teams that they literally, like Carolina, they have to come to Chicago.
Yeah, it's wild.
And it's like Chicago dudes don't care about Carolina; they care about the
right. What was the distance between the Coyotes and the Pirates that you had?
Oh, that was crazy. I mean, when you get called up, it's 4 or 5 hours of flying at least. And there's a layover.
Yeah, Grand Rapids, you could literally just hop right in the car, head down to Detroit.
Right, exactly. And when you were flying from Portland to Phoenix, it was always a great flight, but the flight from Phoenix to Portland wasn't always that fun.
Oh, geez.
Oh no. I felt going back down.
Yeah, exactly.
Great, back to Portland.
Yeah. You're going from sunshine and warm weather to rain and cold.
So at your time at the Griffins, you led the team both the years you were there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just missed out on 2 Calder Cups.
Yeah.
So does that ever get under your skin, man?
For sure. When I was there, Detroit was finally almost about to not make playoffs for the first time in, what was that streak, like 28 years?
Yeah, 28.
So it was kind of like I wasn't really getting a chance there because of that. So it was kind of like the same thing how I was with Phoenix, where like it was like, we have to win right now. We have to win right now.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't getting that chance there, which was a bummer because I really liked it there a lot. So after my 2 years there, they wanted to resign me. I remember talking to Todd Nelson on the phone. He wanted to resign me, and I was like, I kind of just wanted to go somewhere where maybe I would get
more NHL chance.
Yeah, and so that ended up being in Philly. But so the next year, it was like I think that was maybe the first year that Detroit started calling guys up because they weren't making playoffs that year, and the streak was over. So guys were getting call-ups, and then they won it in the AHL, and I was like, oh, man, did I make the wrong decision.
But you're like, dang it.
Yeah, exactly. But, everything happens for a reason. I obviously look back on that, and now if I could have stayed, I would have, but who knows what that would have done for the rest of my career. Maybe I would have been a lifetime GR player and never been able to be the captain of the Olympic team. You just never know how it works out.
Or win your actual championship there.
Yeah,
because I think that's where like I'm kind of the most curious about you here is we reached this point with your career. It only seems like you've escalated since your time in the NHL and AHL. Like, you refused to peak out where you're supposed to, and you just kind of kept playing and escalating your game. And I think that's super impressive about you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So what was it? Oh, go for it, man. Go for it.
Well, I was just going to say, with like technology now, with nutrition, recovery, all the stuff that's out on social media, right in our hands with our phones, it's easy to learn and adapt to what you need to do to stay relevant in the game. And I think I've been blessed to be healthy and not have too many crazy injuries, and just continue to adapt and do what I need to do to stay relevant and stick around.
Yeah.
Yeah, because since your time out of Grand Rapids, you have, like you said, become a suitcase player. You have SHL time, KHL time, National League time. You've played in the Olympic Games, and now you are in Germany.
Captain.
Yeah, captain.
Yeah.
So real quick, it's a little off topic, but do you wish you were playing for America the other night?
Of course. Watching doing that would have been awesome to be a part of that. But those guys that team's so amazing. It's so much fun to watch, and I can't wait for Olympics next year because I actually might get a chance to. We have a break over here during that, so I'm going to try to get the family over there and watch some of those games live.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was a lot funner than I thought it'd be.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
They didn't have the NHL players for the longest time, so I just kind of quit watching the under 18s as much,
Yeah.
But then they got the NHL players back, and the Chuck brothers dropped the gloves and dude, that was
I know.
cool.
That was what a start. I was watching it with my girls. One's 5 and one's 2, and they were even enjoying the fight.
Yeah, that stuff creates hockey fans. I think that.
Oh, for sure.
The attention it got had some 8-9 million people watching it. It was just really cool to see, and like all the nations. I think a couple more nations need to be a part of it, but it's really hard to compete with Canada and America when they're going to be in the finals every year.
Yeah, that's who you want to see playing against each other in the final.
Absolutely.
And I think some people might be a little bummed when they go and watch the Olympics and they realize that you're not allowed to fight in the Olympics. So that element won't be in it, but but it's an even bigger stage of playing for a gold medal.
You still get the hit, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Which, I mean, hitting it, that's something that you've always been an undersized player, but you've never been afraid to throw your body around. Mm-hmm. Even as, you kind of get over into Europe and continue that game. How is holding your body up in this kind of day and age is you're not just 18 anymore. Yeah. I feel it. I don't play hockey as I get out of bed and my bones crack. I mean, how do you do it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of always been a part of my nature, just being a smaller guy and wanting to prove myself that my height's not going to dictate who I am as a person or player. So in that sense, it's always pushed me to play that style. But like I said, I've been pretty blessed with staying healthy and injury free. Obviously, there's always the wear and tear and the aches that you get, but that's what leave is for, and take that when you need to, and sleep and recover when you need to. And obviously, I don't have quite as many beers after the games anymore because that affects the recovery. But I find ways to stay healthy and ready for each game. Plus, you only play 52 games over here, so that helps a lot.
Gotcha. Yeah, as opposed to the 82.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a big difference.
So in USA, when you were captain for that team, how was that experience?
That was amazing.
Fighting for your country.
Yeah, when you grow up, you always dream to be an Olympian, and then obviously once you get a little bit older, you realize that dream might be a little unrealistic, and especially at the age I was at, 34, and then to get the opportunity to go because the NHL guys weren't going, it was such an honor, such a blessing, and then to be named captain was just surreal. I still sometimes look back and don't believe it, but it was special. My grandfather, both my grandfathers served in World War II and the Korean War, so they represented our country at the ultimate level, and to be able to do it in my way was so cool. And I got to bring my dad's dad passed away a little under a year before the tournament, and the Navy gave him a flag, and so I got to bring that flag to Beijing, and we hung it up in our locker room, which was really special.
Nice. That's awesome.
It was super awesome. So it was everything about it was so special. Still hold it close to me today and talk about it a lot. And I wish my family, my wife and my kids could have been there for it. But obviously with COVID going on and it being in China, they weren't allowing anyone there.
Yeah, that was a very intense time period. Hockey basically shut down for a minute, and
it's wild.
So, on top of being the USA captain, you went over and played in the SHL for a while, in which you got yourself a championship. Mm-hmm. That your first championship that you got to win with a team?
Professionally, yes. That was very special. So I actually went to a different team to start the year. Things kind of fell through there. So the other team picked me up at the deadline. And that team was stacked. And I think I was there for about 7 games to end the regular season. And then playoffs, we just absolutely dominated it. And I was in a little bit of a different role on that team. I was third line, and I was playing second power play. So I got to fill in a different role than what I was used to my whole career. And it was fun to, buy into that and be a part of the team and help out any way I could. And obviously, winning championships are the best. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's kind of like what Dylan Larkin did for USA. I mean, he had to kind of step down, be like a third line player. And
yeah,
you can just see, like, when a high quality player like you guys do that, it just brings talent to the team and the depth that it provides.
For sure. And it's so important on every team for guys to accept roles that maybe they're not used to. And that's what makes them great in special teams.
So how did it feel getting that championship after skipped out of the ones in GR?
It felt good. It's obviously always different when you're not there the whole entire season. When you come in towards the end of the season, it's obviously a little different, but it's just so special to win, and then the celebration after, and everything was just so fun. And I think coming up on the 10-year anniversary for it, and they usually do something. So I'm hoping me and my wife and the kids can make it back for that. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So, out of all so on this podcast, we've always argued about which league is the second hardest league to play in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Kyle say the AHL.
Yeah,
but we don't play it. So.
But we don't play it. So.
It's hard to say because they're hard for different reasons. The AHL is young, and there's a lot of games. So there's some games that go by where not a lot goes on, and guys are still learning the pro game. But then at the same time, you have a lot of future NHL all-stars with high-end talent and high-end hockey sense. So it's like hard in that sense. And then, SHL is everyone can skate very well. It's very robotic, very defensive. I would say there's not as much hockey sense because people stick to their systems so much.
Yeah.
And then there's kind of Russia, which is kind of like a combination of both. You have high end skill. It's a little bit older, and you have a little bit more. Some teams are a little bit more robotic. So it's honestly hard to say which one is the best because they're all hard in different ways.
Right.
The thing that I would like to see is, the champion from each league to play in a tournament. That'd be
awesome.
I think that would be a lot of fun to see.
That'd be actually crazy, dude.
It would be because the top teams in each league are so good. Have so many like past NHL players, future NHL players, and just all really good players.
Yeah.
So unfortunately it's hard for me to say which one I think is the best, but they're all just so good in their own way. And a lot of people, even players, they don't understand how good all the leagues are over here, not just like Sweden and Russia. Obviously, those are like the top of the top, but people would be surprised to see how good all the European leagues are. Like you play in those Champion Leagues hockey tournament, and you play a team from Norway, and wow, it was way better than what I would have expected.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, that's cool. We really appreciate you coming with that information. I mean, it's exactly what we wanted to hear, and I think just across the board, there's talent in every league.
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested in hearing about you and what you have planned in the future going on here.
So you play for the Grizzly Wolfberg right now. What do you have in your future, you think?
It's hard right now because my eldest daughter is 5 and she's going to be starting first grade in 2 years. So we got to kind of make that decision if we want her starting it over here or back home. I think I for sure have 2 more years in me.
Nice.
But we'll see.
So you're gonna come back and play for the Griffins for us?
if they want me.
That'd be awesome, dude. So before you get off here, for sure, we gotta tell you. So we used to always, when we were in high school, we'd come in from school and we'd pop on our NHL game.
Mm-hmm.
And you were our like guy, dude.
Oh, thank you.
NHL. We had you that. Like you're too good for the Griffins on our team. We had you up on the Red Wings and we won like 10 Stanley Cups with you, man.
Oh, thanks, dude. I appreciate that. Invite me to the next Stanley Cup party.
Heck yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, those are always fun. I mean, it's just, I remember talking to Ian the first time. He's like, Andy Miele is your brother-in-law? Like, what? That took a minute to register, and I was like, dude, I had that guy with like so many Stanley Cups.
Send me the Stanley Cup ring.
Heck yeah.
I could use a championship ring.
Heck yeah, man. So we actually are going to send you, we got a Griffins pipeline hat for you.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
And we really appreciate your time, man, for real. I know you're a busy man. Obviously, you're on a bus right now.
All good. I appreciate you guys finding the time, too. It's great reminiscing about the old times.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, so I guess keep playing some good hockey out there. Good luck wherever you're going tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We'll get this wrapped up here. Do you have any last thoughts you want to get out there for Griffins Nation, for Detroit, for whoever's listening? Any last bucket list items you want to take care of before your career's wrapping up?
Oh, any last bucket? Yeah. Play a game for the Detroit Red Wings? No.
Let's go. Let's do it.
I always will have a special place in my heart for the Red Wings and the Griffins, so I'm always following along with them. But it's a great organization. It's a great fan base, and I love everything about it.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Andy, for coming on. We really do appreciate it.
No problem, guys. Thanks for having me. We'll talk to you soon.
Yep. Talk to you soon.
Have a good one. Good luck.
See you guys. Thanks.
Yep. So I hope everyone enjoyed the interview with Andy Miele. We sure did. It was a great time. It's so cool talking to someone who's played in all those leagues, and absolutely a learning lesson for us. We learned what a suitcase player was, and
yeah, what a great guy though. Just making the time. It took some time to line it up, and he was patient and willing to do it. So, thanks, Andy.
Yeah, thank you very much, Andy. So that will get us into the penalty box. So for this segment, we like to end the episode on a fun note. We like to step out of hockey and pick the biggest idiot of the week and throw them into the penalty box for a 2-minute minor, 4-minute double minor, 5-minute major, or a game misconduct. Kyle, who are you throwing into the penalty box?
I am going to throw the Milwaukee Admirals into the penalty box. They went over and did a Milwaukee Cowbells night. I believe it was similar to the what could have been night for the Grand Rapids Griffins, and we did the Flying Toasters. But they had about 5,000 some people ringing their cowbells at the same time. And I just don't care how much cowbell you get in one building. You always need more cowbell.
Always. Every single time. More cowbell.
But on top of that, this is going to be a double minor because on this exciting, fun night for the team, they lose. So, double minor for Milwaukee Admirals.
The Milwaukee Admirals failure. All right, so have fun in the box for 2 minutes.
I'm just bitter.
Yeah, I don't like Milwaukee either. So, who I have for the box is whoever decided to, down in Mardi Gras, decided to have a Diddy and baby oil themed parade float. I shouldn't have to get too into this one. Yeah.
it's wrong across the board.
Yep. I'm sure the Mardi Gras attendees were like blown away by this, but yeah, that's probably a 5-minute major. So have fun in the box.
Yeah, we'll keep it simple on that one. Let your own imagination run.
Yeah, Diddy's been in the box a few times. But yeah, so that should wrap up this episode. That should wrap up this episode for the Griffins Pipeline podcast. Thank you again, Andy Miele. Thank you, everyone, for participating in the Marco Kasper drawing. Thank you, Ada Business Association, for having us in the Ada Extravaganza, and come down and see us there. So, catch you next time. Go Griffins.
Go Griffins.
Thank you for listening to the Griffins Pipeline podcast. If you enjoyed the show, give us a 5-star review. We are part of the Hockey Podcast Network. We are not partnered with the Grand Rapids Griffins, Detroit Red Wings, or Toledo Walleye. We are not experts. We are just die-hard fans looking to make a community with others alike. Let's go Griffins Nation. Join the fun, like and follow us on Facebook and X, or call into the show and have your opinion heard 1-616-319-1175. Thank you. Grand Rapids Griffins, Toledo Walleye, and Detroit Red Wings. Players, coaches, websites, and social media. Thank you, AHL.com, NHL.com, ETL.com, EliteProspects.com, and anyone else putting out information on the teams. Until next time, go Griffins. Go Red Wings, go Walleye.